Dear learners and viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Warmly welcome all of you to my online English class. Hope you are well by the grace of the Almighty Allah. I am also well by the grace of the Almighty Allah. This is Mehdi Hassan Sharkar, lecturer in English, Bhavanipur Degree College, Parvatipur, Dinajpur. Dear learners, I will show you some pictures. Please see the pictures attentively and try to guess what the picture about. This is the first picture. What do you see in the picture? This is the second picture. Please look at the picture carefully and try to guess. This is the third picture, and in the picture there has some writings. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. And in the last picture, someone is telling, the time for the healing of the wounds has come. So after seeing the picture, can you guess something? Yes. These are the pictures of famous persons' speech in the world. Now, can you guess what are we going to discuss about today? Yes, our today's topic is Unforgettable History. That means 7th March speech of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And this is Unit 1, Lesson 1. In your textbook, please look at Unit 1 and Lesson 1. After going through this passage, the students or the learners will be able to tell synonym and antonym of some confusing words, describe the historical 7th March speech, tell about Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his contribution. Now, see some new words and their antonyms and synonyms. Overflow. What is the meaning of overflow? Overflow means flat, and the antonym of overflow is subside. Grief. Grief. What is the synonym grief? Sorrow. An antonym, joy. Aware. Conscious. Antonym is unconscious. Tragic. Pathetic. Comic. Negotiation. Agreement. Disagreement. Slaughter. Kill. Protect. So these are the words. If we go through the passage, then these words will be unknown to you, to some students, but some students these words are known. So try to memorize these words. I am again telling, overflow means flat, grief means sorrow, ever, conscious, tragic, pathetic, negotiation, agreement, and slaughter means kill. Now we will learn something about the speaker or the main protagonist of this lesson. The main protagonist of this lesson is Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and we have to learn or we have to gain or we have to gather some idea about his life history. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was born in Tungipara, a village in Gopalpur district in the province of Bengal in British India. His father's name was Lutfur Rahman and he was a Serestadar, that means court clerk of Gopalganj Civil Court. He was born into a Muslim family and he was the third child of his six daughters and brothers. Now, look at the pictures. At first, we have to know about the speeches, about the speech of Bangabandhu. If we go through the speech, then we will see this speech is divided into two parts. The first part is Bangabandhu gave some information, that means the 23 years tragic history of Bangladesh. And in the second part, he tell or he tell or he tell or he requested or ordered the people of Bangladesh to do something, what to do something or what to not to do something. So, if we go through the passage or if we go through the species, then it is clear to us that this species is very much special to the people of Bangladesh, Bengali, because 7th Mars species is one of the best species in the world. And this species is quite exceptional and different from that of other great leaders. And that is why on 30th November, the UNESCO, 30th November 2017, the UNESCO added the species in the memory of the World Register as a documentary heritage. Bangabandhu started his speech addressing his audience, my brothers, and he tell, I stand before you with a heart overflowing with grief. You are fully aware of the events that are going on and understand their import. We have been trying to do our best to cope with the situation. That means in that time, the Bengali and the Pakistani are in face to face. That means there was going a tension between the two countries. And that is why Bangabandhu addressing the people of Bangladesh as brothers and say that what is going on, you are fully aware of the facts, but we are trying our best to cope with the situations. Bangabandhu said that the people of Bangladesh are economically, politically, and culturally deprived. If they get freedom, then the people of this land or of this land's people will get economic, political, and cultural freedom. Then he speech or then he tells about the history of Bengals, because the history of Bengals is full of stories of torture inflicted on our people, of bloodshed by them repeatedly. He tells that we shed blood in 1952 even though we were the victors in the election of 1954. We could not form a government then. In 1958, Ayub Khan declared a martial law to enslave us for the next 10 years. In 1966, when we launched the six-point movements, our boys were shot on 7 June. That means from 1952 to 1971, what had happened in those years, Bangabandhu clearly described to the audience of to the audience. Then Wangamundu said that I have made President Yahya Khan, I have made a request to him not only on behalf of Bangla, but also as the leader of the party which has the majority in Pakistan. I said to him, you must hold the session of the National Assembly on 15th January, but he did not listen to me. He listened to Mr. Bhutto instead. Bangabandhu met Mr. Yahya Khan and requested him to hold the session of the parliament. At first, Mr. Yahya Khan agreed to hold the session of parliament, but when he met Mr. Bhutto, he did not keep his words and he did not hold the parliament session. Mr. Bhutto declared that if West Pakistani members came here, the assembly would end up as slaughterhouse. He claimed that whoever came here would be slaughtered. Then, when the National Assembly would not carry on, when the National Assembly postponed, Bangabandhu requested the people of Bangladesh to do something and not to do something. He clearly said to the people of Bangladesh that I don't want the Prime Minister's house. I want the people of this country to have their rights. I want to state clearly that from this day, Bangladesh's courts, magistrates, government officials, and educational institutions will be shut down indefinitely. But for the convenience of the people of Bangladesh, he allowed something. That means he exemplified some things from the general strike. He said that the poor don't have to suffer so that my people don't have to go through hardships. All other things will be exemplified from the general strikes from tomorrow. Rickshaws, horse carriages, trains and launches will be allowed to move. That means these things will be allowed for the convenience of the general people of Bangladesh. Now, from this text, you have to make a flow chart. And the flow chart is about the historical importance of the mentioned years in the text. The first one has been done for you. In 1958, Ayub Khan declared martial law. Then what will happen? You will have to write it in number 2. After that in number 3. After that in number 4. After that number 5. And after last of all, what will happen in number 6. Bangabandhu then tell the people of Bangladesh that on the 28th, employees will go and collect their salaries. If their salaries are not paid, if another bullet is fired, if my people shoot dead again, I request all of you convert every house into fort. That means I at first tell you that if we divide the speech of Bangabandhu, then it will be clear to us that this speech is divided into two parts. In the first part, Bangabandhu tell about the history of 23 years. That means the tragic history of 23 years, how the people of Bangladesh have been tortured by the West Pakistani rulers. And in the last part, he requested all the peoples to do something. And at first, he requested all the people to convert all the houses or every houses into a fort. And he requested all the army forces, that means the Pakistani army forces, to those in the armed forces, I have this to say: you are my brothers, stay in your barracks, and no one will bother you. But don't try again to aim your bullets at our chest. You can't suppress the 70 million people forever. Since we have learned to sacrifice ourselves, no one can suppress us anymore. And he also said that in Bangladesh there is a harmony between the religions. And he said that in our Bengal, Hindus and Muslims, Bengalis and non Bengalis are all brothers. We are responsible for their safety. Let us not taint ourselves in any way. That means we should not do any harm to the non Bengalis and Hindu religious people. Last of all, Bangabandhu said that by the grace of Allah, however, we will be able to liberate the people of this land. And the last word, the last sentence of this piece is the struggle this time is a struggle for freedom. The struggle this time is a struggle for emancipation. Live long Bangladesh. This is the last speeches. This is the last or significant speeches spoken by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in his speech. He said that today's struggle is for our freedom and today's struggle is for our emancipation. That means freedom. Now, look at the question and try to solve. Which feature of the speech do you appreciate most and why? What are the most or two main important parts of this speech? Before I conduct or before I starting the class, I told you that these speeches are divided. These speeches divided into two parts. So, what are the main two parts of the speech you have to write? And number three, why did Bangabandhu say that the 23 years of our history with Pakistan is a history of repression and bloodshed? Okay, answer the question. Write down in your khata and try to write down the answer of these questions. I hope you all see the questions and try to write down the answers. Homework. You have to write a paragraph on the importance of 7th March speech. If you go through the passages or go through the speeches or hear the speeches on any media, then I hope you will be able to write down the paragraph on the importance of 7th March speech. Try to stay at home and keep well. No more today. We will discuss another topic in another class. Till then, goodbye.